Good evening, and welcome to my quick little podcast, our YouTube show. So I'm going to try and come up with a weekly show called Sunday Evening Cigars. And during this time, I'm going to talk about Freemasonry, certain social issues, spirituality, stuff like that. So, I'm not really too comfortable doing this yet. I've been talking about doing this for quite a while, and I guess I'll just get down to it. So, the cigar I've actually picked for today is a Fonseca Robusto by My Father Cigars. Let me introduce myself real quick. My name is John Muntz. I am a past master of Trenton Wyandotte Lodge number 8 out of the Grand Lodge of Michigan. I am a past high priest of the of Royal Arch Chapter, Trenton Chapter 173. Royal Arch Masons of Michigan. One of the first things I wanted to touch on, and this was a video that I have seen in the past from the Maryland Freemasons. It's a guy dressed up as Benjamin Franklin, and he kind of talks as if he is Benjamin Franklin, talking about Masonry itself, which I think is kind of cool. So with that, let me go over to that and start that off.
Now, some may ask, what is Freemasonry? Now, you can listen to me or not, but I believe it's simple. Freemasonry is the very measure of a man. Look in every city and town in America, and you'll see, right out in the open, a building adorned with the square and compasses. Think for a moment. Freemasonry uses the oldest tools of antiquity, those tools of measurement used by the stonemasons, like the square and the compasses, to demonstrate and pass on the great truths and wisdom of the ages. We use tools of measurement because Freemasonry believes a man's greatness can be measured, not by his wealth or fame, but by his deeds, his character, his truth, his tolerance, his charity, his trust, his friendship, his love for his fellow creatures. It's been said that human happiness comes from the smallest of improvements. So he that can effect positive change, even by a simple kindness, adds wealth to the common stock of humanity. Freemasonry therefore believes greatness can be seen in a man's positive effect in the world, and that to do good is the best way to glorify God. Where the roots of Freemasonry began, no one can say for certain. They're hidden in antiquity, and perhaps that is best, at least for me. I became a Freemason in the Age of Enlightenment, a time much like you now live, a time of great light, where science had changed the way we live. I only wish that the moral sciences could do the same, because it seems to me that the great religions of the world all provide a moral compass to their faithful. And while each man must wrestle in private with his personal relationship with God, Freemasonry offers an ecumenical brotherhood, a fraternity composed of men of all religions, founded on the practice of the great moral and social virtues. And that's why you see on our symbol the letter G. It is there to remind us that God is part of each of our lives, and that the all-seeing eye of God will take the true measurement of our action. Freemasonry has 3 great lights by which we measure ourselves as men and masons: the square, the compasses, and the volume of sacred law we place them upon. That sacred book, one revered by the individual mason, is where we take our oaths, lay the foundation of our lives. The square, providing direction, helps us to square our actions by the square of virtue, because virtue is the stone used to build the man and his temple. Virtue is the cement that binds our relationships, and it is by our virtues that we are measured. The compasses are the tools of our conscience. We learn by the compasses to circumscribe our desires and keep our passions within due bounds with all mankind. The compasses create a circle, the precise circumference required to keep tradition and revelation, principle and creativity in balance. Now, as to the great secret of Freemasonry, it is actually found in the unconscious of each person. It is discovered by each individual for himself, Mason or not, as he comes to know himself and finds the road that takes him to his city. Because the real secret of Freemasonry is finding out who you are. The Mason square doth clear the air of folly and deception. The rule is straight, the angle clear, for greatness has direction. By the compasses abide the points within so far and wide. No pleasure sway nor profit tempt these bounds of Mason pride. Greatness, what your virtues are. Good deeds practiced wide and far. And that secret of Masonic love is learning who you really are. For the great book knows what man can't hide, a life that's measured from inside. And on that book, that oath we took, and we will break it never, but stand by this, and this, and this, forever and forever.
Okay, I always love that one. Okay, like I said, my name is John Muntz. I'm a active Freemason out of the state of Michigan. Some of my biggest interests are, of course, Freemasonry, spirituality. I study Kabbalah, which I find very interesting that there are so many like shared symbolism in between Kabbalah and Freemasonry. Kind of like what this video is talking about is that it's the internal, not the external qualities that we look for inside Masonry. And it's really up to. No, it's okay. Not really up to. Okay, so it's your journey is a better way of saying it. Yeah, you get to start discovering yourself, like what is inside of you, and a big part of that is very similar to like Kabbalah, like I'm talking about. There's you get to kind of discover your inner self, your spiritual self. And like I said, it's the internal, not the external qualities. I've been in lodge, with membership that are, they're factory workers and doctors, engineers, lawyers, law enforcement officers, hospitality workers, EMTs and paramedics. A wide variety. It's not the elite. It's not the bankers like a lot of people think, or Wall Street. Even though, there are people who are bankers and part of Wall Street that are, of course, Masons, but it's not like it's our, that's one of your biggest like prerequisite type things, you know. One of the first questions that people have is basically, well, how do you become a Mason? Well, to be a Mason, you know, you have to be a man. You have to be of good moral character. You should not have felonies. In fact, if you have a felony, you're pretty much going to be excluded. Yeah, we do kind of do a little investigation. You go and when you are interested, you go and you fill out a petition for membership, and you give a little bit of information. And one of the things on that is that you say that you haven't been, or you have been, convicted of a felony. And, you know, you may be reformed, and it depends on what the felony is. You know, if it's, I've actually seen some people have a felony that was, let's say, they got arrested for not paying child support. And, you know, that could possibly be a felony, depending on how far behind you get. I have actually known of one person who had petitioned a lodge who had that type of a scenario. And because of it being a non-violent type thing and it being kind of a friendly, you know, like a family court issue, he was able to get in. But I've also had, or had seen people who have had multiple DUIs, stuff like that. You know, here's the thing: if you have a felony, you know, I wouldn't even really waste your time petitioning a lodge. Yeah, I mean, there's a good chance that you're not going to get in. Another big qualification, and this is one of the biggest qualifications, is that you have to believe in a higher power. Okay, you know, I mean, it doesn't matter, you know, let's say, you know, are you Christian? Are you Muslim? Are you Jewish? You know, are you Hindu? You know, the lodge I actually belong to, we have Muslim members, we have Christian members, and we have Hindu members. Which, you know, it's it really is. Do you believe in a higher power? And you know, there's not many organizations, or you know, even like just a plain meeting where a bunch of guys can get together and have totally different beliefs and have a peaceful gathering, and you know, it's harmony, which I think that is just awesome. You know, we some of our rules inside of our lodge is that we do not talk about religion or politics. You know, in our actual, you know, when we're opened, you know, in our meetings. You know, we call it a tiled meeting. If you actually are in a meeting, we do not talk about such things, because first of all, you know, it's religion and politics, you know, the differences of that kind of can get rid of the harmony within the lodge. So if there's any discussions of that type of subject, it is always afterwards, and you know, it should really be within, you know, good-natured discussion. So I know that this is, you know, this was a kind of a quick put together stream. Going forward, I'm planning, I should say, every Sunday evening at 6 p.m. to have, like I said, we're going to have this, Sunday evening cigars. And my talking so much, my cigar went out. So we will have, I'll invite some guests to talk about Masonry and current issues within Masonry as a whole. We'll have, we'll have it over some beers or drinks, but, of course, a cigar. That's that's basically what I'm trying to accomplish with this little series. So, come back next week at 6 p.m. We will have another edition, and I'll have a Masonic guest to talk about some of the issues of the day within Masonry is a better way of doing it. We also have, even though we don't talk about religion and spirituality inside the lodge, this is kind of what I'm hoping for, is to have a little discussion with some Masons about, basically beliefs and stuff like that. So please join me again next week. It'll be a little bit better set up, more polished, and I will try to have it in between 30 to 45 minutes is what I would like to have our usual like stream. So thank you for joining me tonight, anybody who had actually shown up for the stream, and I will see you next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you have a good rest of your Sunday evening. God bless, and goodbye.